Good morning, Year 3. Today we are going to be looking at using fractions as numbers. This means that we're going to be counting in fractions and putting them on number lines, just like we've been used to doing with whole numbers, but this time they're going to come between the whole numbers. Trying to demonstrate fractions as numbers can be a little bit tricky, so I was trying to think, what do I have in my house that could help me show you? So if we think of a pair of socks as one whole, then if I only have one sock, that's half a pair of socks. So I've got a half. Then I've got one pair, so that's a whole. And then I can have 1.5 pairs. And then 2 pairs. So if I count, I've got half, 1, 1.5, 2. You try and count as well. Half, 1, 1.5, 2. To count in quarters, I decided to use hot cross buns to demonstrate. So I've got 0, 1 quarter, 2 quarters, 3 quarters, 4 quarters, which makes 1. So I go 1 quarter, 2 quarters, 3 quarters, 1. And then I'm counting in quarters. So next I've got 1 and a quarter. And then 1 and 2 quarters, 1 and 3 quarters, and when I put another quarter on, I'd then have 1 and 4 quarters, which would make 2. When we're counting in fractions, our denominator is going to stay the same throughout. So if I'm counting in thirds, I would have 0, and then 1/3. And then my numerator increases by 1, so then I'd have 2/3. And then when my numerator and my denominator are equal, that makes a whole. So instead of 3/3, I've got 1. Once I've gone past the first whole number, I need to keep that whole number with me. So this is now 1 and a third. And then 1 and 2/3. So again, my numerator is increasing by 1 and my denominator is staying the same. So instead of writing 1 and 3/3, I have 2. I've now got 2 whole numbers, so I've got to keep that with me. 2 and a third, 2 and 2/3, and then I don't have 2 and 3/3, I have 3. So I can see that I've got 1 whole and 3 out of 4 parts shaded in, so I've got 1 and 3 quarters. So if I count along in sixths, I've got 1 and 1/6, 1 and 2/6, 1 and 3/6, and then I get to 1 and 4/6. This is false. If I was counting in eighths, after 3, I would get 3 and 1/8. And after 2 and 7/8, I would get the next whole number, which is 3. So the whole numbers are in the wrong place on this number line. Have a go at the worksheet. The first 4 questions have diagrams to help support you. The next 4 questions are just the numbers, so just give it your best go.